Greetings everyone and welcome back to Kadic Review, where we're reviewing a collection of games this time around, Capcom's Beat 'em Up Bundle. But before I begin here, I have to give special note that in order to play through these games, I had to enlist the co-op fun assistance of my beloved teammate Dr. Spartan, aka Slash Arbiter, to help me through these games from a co-op standpoint. To review a collection like this, a collection of 6 of Capcom's classic arcade beat-em-ups from the 80s and 90s, given the loving touch of full-on galleries and great presentation known for the Mega Man Legacy collections as of late, and even the Street Fighter 30th, is a nice thing. But to review this properly, we have to review each of the 6 games individually, starting out with the legendary Final Fight. Now let me preface this by saying there is a much better, cleaner version of Final Fight already on the market. If you have an Xbox One or a PS4 with PlayStation Now, you can play Final Fight Double Impact, a full-on remaster with graphics touches and a newer soundtrack of this same game. This is just a straight up from the arcade port of the game, and it shows especially after. But the game is still classic 2-player beat-em-up action as you aid the legendary Cody, Hagar, and Guy saving Metro City with its now classic soundtrack. There's not much to be said about this game that hasn't already been said. Started an entire genre. Still holds up. It's an 8 out of 10 individually. And that's not even the high watermark for this collection of 6, but it's an excellent place to start. However, I would still suggest you pick up Double Impact to experience the game instead. You can still play it as it is there, but you also get the advantage of the remastered graphics and soundtrack if you want it. So there's a second and much better option. Next up would be its spiritual follow-up, Bionic Commando. Most people remember the character of Bionic Commando because of his appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but most people haven't played the game that he originally comes from. And this is not a surprise. If you didn't go to arcades, you would have not played it. This is one of the many that I hadn't played before this collection, so credit given there. Bionic Commando is about an intergalactic police force trying to stop evil alien emperor from taking over the Earth. This 4-player co-op game, and trust me, there are actually several in this collection that can be played with up to 4, has a more diverse moveset than that of Final Fight, but more surprisingly is a more bassy musical track, as well as the unique animations for death and even punches and kicks, adding some flavor and style, even some very way too low audio to character selection. But the game holds up well as a 7 out of 10 and is surprisingly longer than its Final Fight counterpart with 8 stages. And of course the new characters, and of course the multiple characters encourage multiple playthroughs as well. So If you're willing to give Bionic Commando a go in this collection, I would totally suggest it. There's a lot here, but it's not as remembered as Final Fight is. But it's just as good as Final Fight, which I would find rather surprising. And hopefully with local co-op or with 2 online players or more, this game holds up surprisingly well. But we'll tell you how to deal with weaker connections a little later when we get to the end of this review. For now, Bionic Commando gets a 7. Now, of course, not every game is going to be featured here in this video, but on to the next one. King of Dragons uses the same engine as Magic Sword, the other game in the Final Fight Double Impact game I mentioned earlier. This one is much longer and much too long for what it actually entails. The stages are no more than a minute or 2 long. The boss fights are the most difficult part of the game, seeing that especially cooperatively, you can mow through the hordes of enemies, and considering that the games here in this collection all have infinite continue free play on, you can mow through this game in a few hours. Mostly you'll have to use those continues because you'll basically run out of life because of the enemies on screen. Not about how challenging the enemies are. Plus, the boss designs are repetitively used reskins like most games of the era, but the music and the aesthetic does nothing to hold up or the passage of time. Magic Sword is actually a much more improved version of this. So, with enemies that are pushovers, an aesthetic that doesn't necessarily help, and a game length that is a little too long for its own good, this game is the weakest game in the set. For the other game not seen with actual video footage here, Warriors of Fate uses a Knights of the Round engine to help itself out. And it's just about as good, but it doesn't hold your attention of excitement like Knights of the Round does. Based around Chinese warriors, this 3-player game holds up well animation and aesthetic wise, but may not due to its gameplay. Although, ironically, it has multiple endings in it, which is a surprising plus for it. It holds up to be a 6 out of 10, while King of Dragons is the weakest at only a 4 out of 10. Armored Warriors, however, puts the collection back on a higher plane. This mech brawler where you're defending Earth from an evil alien force looking to take over 2 planets in a sci-fi world uses reattachable and interchanging parts as its main mechanic, and acts as the second fastest game on the list, using the music chip from Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and X-Men vs. Street Fighter. The pulsing rock fits with the gritty metallic feel of the game, with punches going fast and furious, firing off flamethrowers and your Vulcan cannon destroying your opposition. and also having 4 playable characters that can be on screen at once. This is one of the funner games that me and Arbiter played together, and its act structure is strangely perfect for its pacing, allowing acts to be long but not too long, and the stages play out perfectly with an engaging story about cyborgs and human rights sprinkled in between, and the anime-style character face models add a bit to the aesthetic, giving an overall package. This is one of the strong ones at a 9 out of 10. Now, of course, I'd be remiss without bringing up Knights of the Round. Knights of the Round is a game that I personally played in arcades at one of my local bowling alleys when I was a kid, and I was enamored by it. This brawler, based around the Knights of King Arthur's legendary table, has you wielding Lancelot, Arthur himself, or Percival, playing off Final Fight. But unlike Final Fight, this game allows for full 3 players on-screen control, allowing for dynamic battles and team-ups. The music holds up, but most importantly, the animation does. It's definitely a 9 out of 10, one of the funner ones that me and Arbiter experienced here. However, to close things out, we talk about Battle Circuit, a game that was not released outside of Japan in this collection, using the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 engine for music and graphical power. The fastest game in the set is a 4-player tour de force of speed and just general things going on as you try as bounty hunters to hunt down a disk for a all-destructive supercomputer, and all the crazy comic book style antics that ensue. The strange thing about this is Battle Circuit has a currency system that you use to buy upgrades to add additional moves to your character's moveset, adding for extreme depth into the brawler genre. The stages are very long and actually act as miniature stories. This is the most surprising game of the set, and the best game of the set, giving it individually a 10 out of 10. It's the most surprising part of this collection, and the most unique of them all. All in all 6 games are worth the $20 price tag that the game is most certainly worth, especially if you're going to play it locally where the games function perfectly. But if you're playing online, it can be a challenge the more players are in your individual games. However, there is an option in the settings where you can aspect frame delay, as well as enter things like continuum limits, live limits per continue, and even turbo control in the controller settings for those that like playing with turbo on, as I do. All in all, the collection, outside of only 2 of the 6 games, is a must-buy for any retro classic gamer or people that just love classic beat-em-ups. It's a great gift, and that's why we give Beat 'em Up Bundle an overall 8 out of 10 score. Pick it up, especially if you like to put your coins up where your mouth is.